Be thankful. Be thankful. Being thankful is not just if somebody gives you a compliment, you say thanks. Or if someone purchases one of your business services, you're like, oh my God, I'm so thankful you bought this. Yeah, that's part of it. But we got to learn how to be thankful through it all. I sat my butt down for 8 days with COVID. Body was aching, couldn't talk, nose stuffed up, nose still stuffed up. And people were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I feel so sorry. Da, da, da. And I was like, I'm happy I got this time. I'm thankful. Cheers. I have a very uncanny ability, and some people might say it's a fault, I'm like ever optimistic. But really that optimism is just being thankful for me. And I know everybody's not like this. I do think it's value in seeing being a devil's advocate with stuff too. I get it. But y'all, we got to be thankful. We got to be thankful when we mess up. We got to be thankful when something happens. When a loved one dies, and I'm saying this because I've experienced it, it hurts. But we got to be able to be thankful for the time we had with that person. You got fired, you better be thankful you was able to have a job for the time you had it. Be thankful you was able to get that experience. So for the next time you can do that, be thankful for that severance package they got you. So now you got 6 months to a year to really recalibrate on their dime.
Hey you, welcome to Shades of Content, a show that teaches entrepreneurs how to effectively use content to market their business and stay content while doing it. I'm your host, Patrice, a wife, a mom of 3, and a 15-year public relations and marketing professional who decided to open a brick and mortar content studio 4 years ago. And I honestly haven't looked back since. Join me as I share my experiences and the experiences of other entrepreneurs who, like me, are navigating this maze of owning a business, running a family, and trying to stay sane and healthy while doing it. I'll tell you, it's an amazingly challenging journey, but I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. See you soon.
Everything happens for a reason. Like, you gotta just roll with the punches, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything ain't great. You're gonna have some time. You just gotta know how to deal with them and just make sure you got like a strong family around you at those times. You just gotta go through it. Everybody go through it. We all lose somebody. Been broke, you know what I'm saying? Had to run it up and fucked it up, ran it back up, just whatever situation there, so it's for real.
Hey. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Shades of Content. I'm your host, Patrice. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm always happy that you're here. This is episode 96. This is Shades of Content, the show that teaches Black millennial mompreneurs how to use content to market their business, but also how to live lives of contentment through the ups, the downs, professionally and personally. I am, if you're new here, I'm a married mom of 3, and I own a content studio named Camp Space. Camp Space was one of the very first content studio concepts. We opened in 2018. We became an official content studio in 2019. We were able to last through the pandemic because content is king, content is queen, content is everything. And people realized that they really could not create quality content in their home during the pandemic because of kids, and their houses weren't pretty and they didn't feel comfortable and they just wanted to get away. And so that is what my beautiful space, this beautiful space is. I don't want to say my because if you've listened to the show before, and if you haven't, we are franchising. So I haven't really promoted it much, but if people are interested in opening their own or in learning how to open their own content studio, we are allowing this to be franchised. So that'll probably be another episode. Also, we are here. It is November 11th. I want to shout out all the veterans. I myself am married to a 25-year Army reservist. My husband, when I met him, he was 24 years old. I was 19 and he was about to be deployed. I met him in March of 2003. And if I'm not mistaken, he was deployed in the summer-ish of 2004. So that was quite an adjustment, right? I'm a 20-year-old girl living my best life, a senior in college. And here is my boyfriend who gets deployed, and I have to support him. And it was just man, that was a lot. And I'll never know what it's like to be deployed. I'll never know what it's like to be in the military. But people who serve their country are just amazing people. People always say it's a choice or you get paid, but nah, the military is such an amazing institution. And if you understand that lifestyle and you can matriculate through the ranks, you're a special person and you have a lot of qualities that many of us bystanders or civilians could probably benefit from. So shout out to all the veterans who are living. I pray that you know how much we love you. A special shout out to those service members who have passed, those service members who died serving their country, the ultimate sacrifice. So happy Veterans Day. I have my tea with me because I'm still a little congested and talking is probably not helping, but we got to get the content out. All right. Okay. So today is also the funeral of Takeoff. You already probably guessed what the point of this episode was by the topic. It's in memory of Takeoff, the member of the Migos. His real name is Kershnik Kari Bell, and he is such a bright light in music. His life, which I'm sure you've heard, was tragically cut short on November 1st, just last week, over nothing. If I'm being honest, it was over nothing. The senseless use of a gun took the life of an innocent bystander who also just happened to be one of the bright lights in music, not just hip hop, in music. I've gotten into an argument or two, okay, over how Takeoff is the best Migos. And I know this is not about competition. I'm not making it that at all. But my connection to him was always, I just loved listening to him because he's so lyrically talented. And it's usually the people who are like the top, right? That are the low key ones that just kind of fall behind and play the background because I wouldn't be surprised if it's because he was just always working, always thinking about rhymes and always thinking about words and always thinking about music. And it's so interesting because I released a similar episode, very similar to the vein of this episode, actually August 24th, 2020. I released a similar episode to commemorate Nipsey Hussle's birthday. And I started the episode the exact same way. I had a quote from Nipsey. I talked about how he impacted me. I also went into the loss of a very close family member of mine at the time. Those emotions, I remember sitting in here recording that episode. Those emotions were so raw. And I remember I was crying. You can hear, if you listen to the episode, the link is in the show notes. You can hear me crying as I'm talking about my cousin. But it also, the episode ends with a very direct charge with what we need to do to just be better people. And so I'm recording this now. Again, it's November. You're hearing this on November 11th. And as I think about the loss that we've had with Takeoff, right now my feelings aren't as raw as they was when I heard that he passed away. I woke up about 6 a.m. like I normally do. And my husband, he was on his way to the airport and he texted me that he had heard Takeoff was killed. And I was like, okay, you know what? If I don't see it, I don't believe it. But of course, you're going to go online and see if there's information on it. And it hadn't been confirmed yet. So I'm going on the Shade Room. I'm going on Hollywood Unlocked. These are platforms I don't follow. I don't follow these platforms. However, I see their value. I respect their hustle. But I went to their pages to see if there was some updates. TMZ didn't have any updates. So I go to their pages and they kept saying it wasn't confirmed, not confirmed. And so I was writing in the comments, don't repost it. Don't post this if it's not confirmed. Have some respect for the family. So I'm just going in because I'm taking it personal that they're saying this young man is dead when we don't know it to be officially true. Fast forward about 40 minutes later, I pull up TMZ. I'm in the middle of making my kids their lunch and TMZ posted. And y'all, I broke down. I fell to my knees crying, like a wailing cry when it was confirmed that he was dead. You know, you don't wake up expecting to hear that news, obviously. And who am I to even have a say in what I expected when it comes to his life? This is not coming from that space. This is 100% coming from, you don't expect your heroes, you don't expect young talent to be killed. And even though it keeps happening, it's still just like a shock. So I broke down because I was so sad and so hurt, and thinking about this man's music and thinking about his family members, not just his bandmates, his literal family members, and thinking about all the lives that just him having the guts to speak up and say we should rap. Him taking that step changed the life of so many people. Migos' music sells. They are rock stars. They're not hip hop stars at this point. They are rock stars. They hit every part of the culture. I mean, just y'all know what it is. So when you think about this stupid decision to pull out a gun and fire, it's a ripple effect. It's not just one person who dies. It's a ripple effect. So you think about that. You think about all the black men, list just gets longer and longer, who are dying. Like, take a gun out, boom, dead. 1 millisecond action transforms and changes the life of everybody forever. Nobody's thinking that. So that made me break down. I broke down because I have a 15-year-old son. My 15-year-old son is the most beautiful human, gentle, mature, wouldn't harm a freaking apple, okay? You know, people look up to him. He's a leader. He is in environments where he's the minority, but he's still, he's smooth. You know what I'm saying? Like, but somebody could see him and think he was a threat, even if he's not. And the fact that our black men are walking targets, not just to the outside world. Our black men are walking targets for our own people. It's like we see black men and we want to harm them the same way the world want to harm them. We are harming each other. So, you know, as I coped with that loss, again, I don't know this man. I don't have any type of correlation to Takeoff and the Migos. Like, there's no connection. 6 degrees, probably about 10 degrees. I don't know. But it just broke my heart. It also broke my heart because the way that we have become so driven by clout in social media, the fact that someone would be so callous. It's one thing to record it. Okay, I record some things that people don't know I record, but I keep it. I don't share it. To record this man dying and then have the audacity to put that on public social media platforms for the world to see, for his mother and his father and his family members, his loved ones to see, that made me angry. Yes, I can't remember when we've seen it before. When Nipsey was killed, it was a surveillance camera. I don't recall seeing anybody else in this manner, but it ripped me. Nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves the world to see that. Now, there are some instances where people are on their deathbed and they say, I want to chronicle this, but that's not this. That is not the case. This was a stray bullet. This was a bullet. I don't know the details, y'all. This was a bullet that killed someone who wasn't a part of the issue. And then the people standing beside and standing in the background, instead of rushing, some people did rush, but whoever was filming wasn't helping. He bled out, and that is for public consumption. Nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves that. And that's just a lie. So I want this episode to honor Takeoff and honor life. When that happened last week, it reminded me, you guys, that we don't decide. Life and the actions and the things, the residual after effects of what we decide, we actually don't decide it at all. I believe that this world is just this really intricate being of stars and timing and all those things. And yes, we do decide what we do every day, but that's the only person we decide for. We ain't deciding for nobody else. And all those other actions of all those other people that we can't decide for ultimately impact us. And so while I'm someone who loves to look into the future. I love looking into the future. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Clifton Strengths Test, but I took it with my new job and I found out that my number one Clifton strength is futuristic. Okay. That means that I'm literally exceptionally talented in futuristic themes. I'm inspired by what the future looks like. I'm inspired by what the future can be. And I can energize other people with my visions of their future and of the future, right? So I'm someone who is always looking ahead. What can we do next? How does this impact in the long run? What's happening down the line? I love planning, right? But the bottom line is you can plan, you can do, you can work, but what's going to happen is going to happen.
I wanted to talk to you guys quickly about business credit, about how I've been able to use business credit for my business. So I've spent like the last year and a half trying to get my credit up. Like getting in the 700s was really something that was important to me. And I personally was not applying to anything. But I spent a lot of time, again, like 2.5 years trying to like raise my credit score, and I was very proud of that. Doing that, I was afraid to also apply for business credit. So one day, I think I might have been talking to my accountant, and he was like, just apply for the business credit card, Patrice. It's not going to hurt you. So I did it, and I was able to get 2 business credit cards, a Capital One Visa and an American Express Platinum. And I didn't realize why people were talking about business credit. I didn't realize why people were doing it. I kind of just thought it was y'all just trying to get this money. But actually, these things have been very helpful with me running my business. So the way I do it is I use my Capital One card to pay for all of the business's monthly expenses, the things that I know I got to pay for. Put it all on the card. At the end of the billing period, I just pay it off, right? So if you guys have been on the fence about whether or not you want to apply for a business credit card, you do have to have good personal credit. I think sometimes people think they can apply for these business credit cards and it does not factor in your personal credit. It does. They're going to ask for your EIN number, but they're also going to ask for your personal information, which includes your social. So you definitely want to have your ducks in a row and make sure you got your personal stuff together for a higher chance of getting approved. Also, I am not a financial advisor. I'm none of those things. I'm just telling you my personal experience. But if you're on the fence, I would suggest doing it so that it can free up some of your funds, your actual liquid cash, and you can have some more flexibility, right, to do what you need to do. I also feel like, and I know interest rates, again, I'm not the professional. I don't know any of that stuff. Of course, the credit card interest rate is going to be a lot higher than a loan, but loans are really hard to get. And again, if you have a system and a strategy for paying off the debt, you'll be fine. If you're interested in applying to a Capital One card, there are links in the show notes. I don't got nothing to do if you get approved or not. Don't come at me, man. This shit don't work out. Not my problem. I'm just giving you the resources. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I shared that with you all. Again, links to the Capital One business card are in the show notes.
And so this episode is about taking off. I don't know if anything that I said in the first 15 minutes of this recording is making sense to you, but it's on my heart and I wanted to get it out, right? So this episode is about taking off. We're going to take off like our boy Takeoff, who in fact called himself the last rocket. I don't know if you guys downloaded his album. Of course I did. It came out in 2018. It was so nice to see him be able to have his own album where you really could hear. You could really, really hear without the other distractions of Quavo and Offset. You could just hear his lyrical capabilities. The sounds of the music were a little different, very futuristic, right? So again, this episode is about takeoff. We're going to take off, right? We're going to keep moving. We're going to keep moving forward no matter what. But also, we're going to take off as in getting rid of things. So I'm going to keep this short. And I just have 5 steps to ensure that you are taking off and making the most out of your life. I say this all the time, and I just said it. We don't know what's going to happen. Tomorrow's not promised, but the next minute, the next 5 minutes ain't promised. We have got to begin living with urgency. We have got to begin understanding that right here, right now is what matters. Of course you can dream. Of course you can believe and plan. But if you ain't doing it right now, what we got? Like, what you doing? What are you doing it for? All right. So here are the 5 things, again, the 5 steps that you need to ensure that you are taking off in your life. All right. So the first thing, you want to make sure you're always dreaming. We cannot forget to dream. And when people are killed and when crazy things happen in the world, God, it makes it hard to dream. You laying in your bed crying. How the hell are you supposed to dream through that? But I tell you, even though life is hard, we have to have those dreams. Dreams are what keep us smiling. Dreams, no matter how wild they are, no matter how unreal they seem, dreams are what give us hope. Dreams are what start manifestations. Manifestations are what leads to actions. Actions is what leads to change. So no matter how crazy shit gets in life, you have got to dream. I honestly try to dream. I daydream often. So when I go to bed, I try to put my phone down and I just close my eyes and I just think of life. Lately, I've been thinking about what it's going to feel like when I'm living on a beach. What it's going to feel like when I wake up and I smell and I hear the ocean. I start the day with the ocean and the sun right there. I'm dreaming that. I know what I'm going to look like. My hair is going to be much longer. Like, waist going to be even smaller. I'm going to be eating healthy. I'm going to be juicing, right? Like, I see that. I am dreaming of that life now. And those dreams are allowing me to start making actions to make that happen. So please, you have to dream. If you want to take off and you want your life to skyrocket, you have to dream. Because if you can't see it, then you damn sure ain't going to do it. The next thing that you need to do to ensure that your life takes off is to act. Obviously, dream, believe, act, okay? You can't wait around. Success comes from speed. So when a positive and productive thought comes into your mind, you got to make it happen. And if you can't make it happen right away, and I've said this before, take out your phone, open up your notes, and jot it down. No bullshit, I have a note in my phone. Let me show y'all just so you know I'm not capping. Called, where you at? It's called God Talk. Bam. This is the God Talk note, okay? Anytime God gives me a vision, anytime God tells me to do something, I pull out my phone and I jot it down. And if you can notice, I have the checkpoints next to it. I didn't just do bullet points. I did the actual checkpoints so I can check it off. There you go. Once it's done. And this list is going to last forever because God is always talking to me. I might not be able to execute on what he says when he says it. It might not be time to execute when he says it. But because I've written it down in God Talk, I'm going to act on it when the time is right. I'm not going to forget. We're human. Our minds have so many different things that are input in it on a minute-to-minute basis. You got to be able to jot that stuff down because remembering it is how you're going to act. All right. So first, you got to dream if you want to take off. Second, you got to act. Third, if you want to take off, if you want your life to take off, baby, you have to rest. You have to rest. I'm going to say it again. You have to rest. All right. If you heard last week's episode 95, you heard that I had COVID. I sound a little better than I sounded then. Praise God, but I'm still a little congested. And I think I might do a COVID podcast episode. I did vlog the whole thing. So I will be releasing that at some point. But anyway, you got to rest. I had COVID. And with that, I was able to rest for 7 days. And you guys, that rest that I experienced over the past few days has been transformative. I gave my body, I gave my mind, I gave my spirit time to recalibrate and sit down. I thought about my future. And yes, I said that I dream, right? I dream every day, every night. But over those 8 days of being quarantined, not having to take my kids and pick them up, I just sat. And I was like, it was quiet. There was so much quiet time that I was missing. And oh my God, like that rest was so important. It's like I would wake up and not have anything, like I didn't have to rush to make breakfast. So then one morning I was like, all right, let me put on Coach Stormy. And she just happened to be, I just happened to click on a certain YouTube and it was called, Make Money or something like that. But she was talking about so much more than making money. And through that, I joined her Girl Hold My Hand community. And now I'm taking in this positive reinforcement, positive motivation every morning now. So every morning I get up, I go into the Girl Hold My Hand app, or I'll just pull up a YouTube and I will just listen to some Coach Stormy stuff. It might be 5 minutes, it might be 10, it might be an hour, but it's giving me that you got this, do it this way, you can do this. What you mean? All because I was resting. Had my ass not had to sit down with COVID, I wouldn't have been resting. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to connect with that content, which has now led to a whole domino effect. You got to recalibrate. When I think about myself personally, you guys know I work out 3 to 4 times a week. I'm always moving. My body. My body be hurting because I be working out so much. I needed the rest. The quiet place is important. So the third thing, again, if you want to take off, you have to rest. The fourth thing you have to do if you want to take off is you have to celebrate. If you want your life to take off, you got to acknowledge the great things that are happening. We're so quick to move on to the next thing that we don't acknowledge the wins. We're never acknowledging the wins. And when I say we, I mean me. Never acknowledging the wins. Never acknowledging the progress. Part of not acknowledging the progress and the wins is because we're not taking note of it. We're not taking inventory of where we started from and how far we've come. So we got to do that. We're just continuing to move through life, through exhaustion, not resting. We're not giving ourselves credit, but we're also not giving God credit. Why would God want us to work and do all these things and then not acknowledge and celebrate what he gave us? He enabled us and allowed us to do the things. So when we're not celebrating that we did whatever, we're saying we ain't celebrating him. We're not giving him his due. So then it might make it it might be a little more challenging to help us get to that next step because we didn't appreciate and show celebration for getting to the step prior to. So you got to celebrate. The fifth thing that you need to ensure that your life takes off is you need to be thankful. You need to have gratitude. Be thankful. Be thankful. Being thankful is not just if somebody gives you a compliment, you say thanks. Or if someone purchases one of your business services, you're like, oh my God, I'm so thankful you bought this. Yeah, that's part of it. But we got to learn how to be thankful through it all. I sat my butt down for 8 days with COVID. Body was aching, couldn't talk, nose stuffed up, nose still stuffed up. And people were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I feel so sorry. Da, da, da. And I was like, I'm happy I got this time. I'm thankful. Cheers. I have a very uncanny ability, and some people might say it's a fault, I'm like ever optimistic. But really that optimism is just being thankful for me. And I know everybody's not like this. I do think it's value in seeing being a devil's advocate with stuff too. I get it. But y'all, we got to be thankful. We got to be thankful when we mess up. We got to be thankful when something happens. When a loved one dies, and I'm saying this because I've experienced it, it hurts. But we got to be able to be thankful for the time we had with that person. You got fired, you better be thankful you was able to have a job for the time you had it. Be thankful you was able to get that experience. So for the next time you can do that. Be thankful for that severance package they got you. So now you got 6 months to a year to really recalibrate on their dime. It's so easy. Actually, I'm not even going to say that. I was going to say it's so easy to focus on the bad, but it ain't. It ain't. We have to reprogram our minds. We got to fix our messed up mindset. We got to stop allowing the world to put those negative thoughts and those negative images and those finger pointing cancel culture ideals on us. We don't gotta be that way. We don't gotta be that way. We can be thankful for it all. We can hear someone like Kanye say something that we don't appreciate, but still be thankful for the things that he has said in the past that helped us. And I'm just using that as an example because I love Kanye. But anyway, I digress. We got to stop looking at other people and envying other people and be thankful for our own path. Everything matters. If you want to take off, how can you even see the shift? How can you see the rocket taking off if you mad or you envious over what somebody else got going on? You ain't thankful for what you got. Somebody gives you a rocket. Somebody gives you a tool. And instead of saying, my God, thank you, you say, this is not the one I wanted. I don't like this. That's crazy. We got to do better. We got to do better. So that's it, y'all. I told you it was going to be a short episode. Not short because there wasn't enough to celebrate Takeoff. Nah, not at all. Short because I don't want you to waste any time. I gave you 5 things that you need to do if you want your life to take off. You got to dream. You have to act. You have to rest. And you must celebrate. And when it's all over, and not even when it's all over, just all the time, you got to be thankful. You got to be thankful through it all. I don't know what it feels like to bury a child. I pray to God I never have to experience that. I never forget, I went to a workout class one day. My son was probably about 8 or 9. And he, if y'all know me, y'all know, especially when RJ was my only kid for 10 years, he was with me everywhere. 2 years old at the turn up brunch at Front Page. Like I took my guy with me all the time, everywhere. So I brought him to the workout class with me. And there was a woman there. She was just nice. Some people just smile at you, and she was giving that energy. And so after the class, she said to me, she was like, is this your son? I said, yeah. And she said, you guys are so cute. You remind me of me and my son. He passed away. Whew. I wasn't expecting her to say that, but I was thankful that she felt comfortable sharing that with me, because in her saying that made me even more thankful for this human that I birthed, that has been my rock for a lot of stuff. When I need to run an idea by somebody, I actually ask my son first. So, I don't know what it's like to bury a child. I don't want to ever feel that, but if that's what God has for my life, then that's what he has for my life. And if that's what he has for my life, I can't help but to be thankful for the years that he gave me with my children. So if you hear this and you know that you are not ready to take off, or you're afraid to take off, or you feel like you don't have what you need to take off, I'm here to tell you that you do. If God put the idea in your head, if God put the thought on your heart, that's him saying, it's takeoff time, baby. Time to take off. I am so thankful for Takeoff, Kirshnik Kari Bell. I'm so thankful for the music, the vibes, the videos, the content that he gave us while he was here. I'm thankful for everybody in his team. Every part of his story made him who we know him to be as Takeoff. You don't have to be a rapper to have impact. You don't have to be an influencer or social media star to matter. You matter. What you do matters. You are amazing. You are great. I am thankful for you. You need to be here. We love you. We hear you. We see you. We want more. You make us feel good. I am thankful for you. It's your time to take off. No more questions. No more delays. Even if you doubt yourself, still do it anyway. Do it scared. Do it fearful. Do it confused. Call somebody if you need help. Email me if you need me to give you some tips. It's time to take off. And with that, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please share it. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Share this episode with somebody. Your girl's preaching. Okay. But in all honesty, in all seriousness, thank you for tuning in. We are almost at episode 100. It's going to be quite an affair. Rest well, Takeoff. I send so much love and prayers to your entire community. Your time here, it was beautiful. And you've inspired us all to take off. We gonna do it. Your life will not be in vain. Lastly, we gotta stop killing each other. Please, brothers, stop killing each other. Sisters, stop killing each other. Spouses, domestic partners, stop hurting each other. Love, 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 love. See y'all next week.
All right, now, y'all, don't forget to connect with Shades of Content on Instagram at Shades of Content and with me, Patrice Camo, at Patrice Camo. And also be sure to rate this show, leave a review, and subscribe because that's actually the only way that we're going to grow. I'll see you next week.